Now the Spirit of the Lord is the one that speaks through me. Before my mother's womb, he ordained and knew me, ransomed me, and placed his words upon my tongue. Few are chosen, rest assured that I am one, an ambassador for Christ, his beloved son. And by his word, let souls be one. So welcome everyone to this listening party. Sit back and let your souls be hearty. Celebrate with me the gift that God has imparted. And what better way to get this party started than to give him the stage, because he knows where your heart is. Holy Spirit, you are welcome in this place. Give me the boldness to look upon each face and speak every word that you've given me to say. With no fear, I speak truth. I won't deviate, and I'm confident that all will go great. So let your presence saturate this place. I breathe in your spirit, I intake a river full of life, water in every dry place. As I flow to the notes that heaven navigates, let it bless every listener and free them today. Let the truth of your word draw souls to be saved. Let the comforter comfort hearts today, and let the light of your word show them the way. Every time I write, I tell his story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. He opens up to me and shows me his glory. He gives me the strength to keep on soaring, and when I open up my mouth, for him I'm roaring. And the Spirit of the Lord goes before me, to the captive set free, that's reassuring. Over the years he strengthened my inner core, and every day I wake up just seeking him more. Am I ready for this? In my spirit I'm sure I am in Christ, and my Father I adore. He redeemed me from destruction, I am his ambassador. As the world turns and open up the door, I step in with purpose to win souls for the Lord. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell the story as I bask in the truth of his word before me.
Hey, welcome to Tom the Bomb Sports Talk, the fastest growing show in the world. Today is Monday, February 3rd, Groundhog Day, all right, 2025, and this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. If you don't think it's a great day, just try missing one. And we, LOVE, love the Word of God and sports. I'm your host, Tommy J. Wood, and we have another fantastic show for you today, gang. Look, here on the Tom the Bomb Show, we bring together my two passions, the Word of God and sports. What a concept, right? We bring together the excitement of sports and strengthening our faith through the Word of God. So, in every episode, we fill it with insightful sports commentary from a Christian perspective. How about that? Reminding you that how we win and lose in life truly matters. Our mission is to spread the word of God. Spread the word of God. So that's what we do. That's what we do here on the show, and we are called to do that. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So every show, we want to reflect our commitment to sharing biblical truth, offering and encouragement through Scripture, because we know that's what works 24/7 is the word of God. Okay. If it's relative to the people, then it's relative on the Tom the Bomb Show. We address significant social issues and problems to provide guidance that is based on Christian principles in order to assist people in navigating the daily challenges that life presents. As usual, we want to start off by thanking God for all the wonderful things that He's already done. Uh, you know, things that He's already done. Now let's get to our theme. Our theme for 2025 is living in the grace realm. And before this year is over, we're going to totally understand this. Our foundational scripture is found in 2 Corinthians 9 and 8. And it says, and God is able to make all grace abound toward you, that ye, always having all sufficiency in all things, may abound to every good work. That's from the King James Version, okay? Our goals are to teach the Word of God so that anytime you can see the Word, hear the Word, and understand the Word of God, you can be converted into the Word you see, hear, and understand. And once we are converted, we can strengthen the brethren and as witnesses declare with boldness, as Jesus is, so are we in this world. And man, when you can come into that revelation of the truth, man, you just watch things start to happen for you. It's a powerful thing, understanding the authority that you have as a believer. Hey, gang, our show is live, so you can participate. The call-in number is 301 655 9992. Again, that's 301 655 9992. Or you can join us live on Facebook Live, which is what we are now, and on YouTube at Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. And if you're traveling on the road, you can catch us on Spotify in your car or on your smartphone or your iPad or tablet, whatever it is that you have, under the same name. Okay. Now, you can always email us at info@tomthebombsports.com, and definitely check us out on our website at www.tomthebombsports.com. Hey, gang, we got trivia today. We got a lot of great things for you today. We got a really, really good show for you lined up. So our trivia question for today is, what team has played in 4 Super Bowls and has never held a lead in any of the 4 games? What team has played in 4 Super Bowls and have never held a lead in the game? Think about that, right? We got poll questions. Let's get to our poll questions results from last week first. Okay, first of all, well, let's start off with you. First of all, our poll question was, who do you like to win Super Bowl 59? It was an overwhelming amount. I think it was almost 60% that most of you guys think that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win this Super Bowl. So that was our first poll question. Our second poll question was, will Patrick Mahomes catch Tom Brady 7 rings, 7 Super Bowl rings? And 60% of you said no, that you don't think that Patrick's going to get 7 rings. All right, so let's get to today's poll questions, and we're actually going to start the show off on this. Today's poll question is, who's the best Super Bowl team of all time and what year? Okay, now let's have some fun with this one, gang, and let's dig into it. So Tom the Bomb is going to give you my top Super Bowl teams of all time, and you kick in next week or even live on Facebook, social media, and let us know what you think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my top Super Bowl teams of all time. Now, I need you to understand, I'm not saying the top Super Bowl teams that won the Super Bowl. That's not what I'm saying. If they were, because there were some times, and Tom Baum's going to talk about that, there were times when the team that lost in the Super Bowl was actually a better team. So it's not going to be all the winners of the Super Bowl. It's just going to be the best teams of all time. And we're doing it this way because I want to put this list out. I want you guys to be able to think, and then let us know what you thought the best team was of all time. So let's get it kicked off. This is Super Bowl 59, so we're starting off with basically 59, 58. I have the 1980 Oakland Raiders, the first wild card team to win the Super Bowl. Great Kenny King's on that team. The quarterback was not Joe Camp. I can't think of his number 16. But yeah, the 1980 Oakland Raiders to beat the Eagles. That was the first NFL team to be a wild card, and the wild card actually won the Super Bowl. 1980 Raiders up at number 58, 59. Number 58, I have the 2001 St. Louis Rams lost Super Bowl 36 to the Patriots. Well, what's up with that? Well, that's what I just got through telling you. It's not the teams that actually won the Super Bowl. If you guys can remember back, this was an upset. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was Tom Brady's first Super Bowl win. He had taken over for Drew Bledsoe. But this Rams team was unbelievable. And they lost this game because they did what the Ravens and the Lions did. They stopped giving the ball to Marshall Faulk, if you guys remember that. So we got the Rams at next. And then in 19, and then our next at 57, I got the 2007 New York Giants. They won Super Bowl 42. The undefeated Patriots started 0-2 and won from the wild card position. At 56, I've got the 1987 Washington Redskins defeated the Broncos 42-10. Lori, you was at that Super Bowl, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, Lori was actually at that Super Bowl. Doug Williams was Super Bowl MVP, and he's the first African-American quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Yep, and so if we all can remember that here in the DMV, the crazy stuff that went on behind that. Then we have coming up next, the 2001 New England Patriots in Super Bowl 36 over the Rams. And if you remember, that was the year, like I said, that was the year that the Patriots got there with the Tuck rule, and that launched a dynasty and the beginning of a lot of home cooking that people really didn't like about the Patriots that our Chiefs seen. I'm getting ahead of myself because that's coming later in the show, but that was the Tuck rule, launched that dynasty. At 54, we got the 2008 Pittsburgh Steelers. They won Super Bowl 43 over the surprising Cardinals in one of the most exciting Super Bowls ever. Great Super Bowl game. At 53, we got the 1974 Pittsburgh Steelers. They won Super Bowl 9 over the Minnesota Vikings with the best rookie class in history. Look at this rookie. I just want to go to this team. Look at this rookie class on this team. These were rookies. Lynn Swann, Jack Lambert, John Stallworth, Mike Webster, and Donnie Shell. The greatest rookie class of all time. All of those guys are Hall of Famers with the exception of Donnie Shell, and he probably should be in there. At 52, I got my 1988 San Francisco 49ers. They won Super Bowl 23 over the Cincinnati Bengals with that 92-yard drive from Montana to John Taylor. That's the one where John Candy was famous for, where Montana was like, hey, isn't that John Candy in the stands? Yeah, that's that team, yeah. At 51, we got the 1978 Dallas Cowboys. They lost Super Bowl 13 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if you guys remember, Jackie Smith, who is a Hall of Famer, had played for the St. Louis Cardinals all of his career, got traded to Dallas late and ended up going into the Super Bowl, and he dropped what could have been the game-winning TD. And I remember the announcer saying, oh, bless his heart, he's got to be the most miserable man in America. I think it might be, I'm not sure, but it might be the first time that we caught Roger Staubach cussing on TV. At number 50, we got the 2011 New England Patriots. They lost Super Bowl 46 to the Giants, 21-17. If you guys remember, this was the one where Mario Manningham made that great catch from Eli Manning, okay? At 49, we got my 1981 49ers. They won Super Bowl 16, vaulted by the catch over the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC Championship game. It was the first of 5 Super Bowl titles for my San Francisco 49ers. At 48, we got the 2003 Patriots. The Patriots won Super Bowl 38, going 14-2 that year over Carolina in another great game. That was really, really great. You know, often we get these Super Bowls and sometimes they just aren't great games. Sometimes they're kind of dull, you know, but this was one of the great games that actually got overlooked. Next, at 47, we got the 1990 New York G-Men won Super Bowl 25, upsetting my San Francisco 49ers in NFC Championship game, who were looking to be the first team ever to three-peat. Now we have Kansas City trying to three-peat when it really should have been my San Francisco 49ers, but the Giants won that when they're in there. At 46, we got the 1983 Washington Redskins, not the Commanders. They were the Redskins. The 1983 Redskins. They lost Super Bowl 18 to the Oakland Raiders after setting a league record of scoring 541 points during the regular season. That was an unbelievable football team, and most people felt like it was an upset that the Raiders beat the Redskins in that Super Bowl. Then we have at 45, we got the 1969 Minnesota Vikings lost Super Bowl 4 to the Kansas City Chiefs with probably its best Super Bowl team ever. I've talked about this in the past. This was the first football game that Tom the Bomb ever seen. I think I told you guys, me and Gus was in the living room and the Super Bowl came on, and Gus said, "Ooh, look at that team with those pretty purple uniforms. I'm rooting for that team." So, Mother Wig, I got stuck with your Kansas City Chiefs, and it started a long, lifelong trend of Tom the Bomb thrashing Gus in whatever they did. But the upset was that the Vikings were actually heavily favored in that game, and it probably was the Vikings' best team. At 44, we got the 1967 Oakland Raiders. They lost Super Bowl II after going 13-1, losing 33-14 to the Packers. The Packers smoked them in that Super Bowl. At 43, we got the 1995 Dallas Cowboys. They won Super Bowl 30, winning 3 Super Bowls in 4 years with the triplets. Help me out with the triplets. Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin. Thank you, boy. I tell you guys, she be fooling y'all. She knows sports. At number 42, we got the 1967 Packers. They won Super Bowl II, beating Dallas in the legendary Ice Bowl game in the NFC Championship game. 41, we got the 2013 Denver Broncos. They lost Super Bowl 48, being the only team in history to score over 600 points. They scored 606 points that year. That's an NFL record. And then they got in the Super Bowl and lost, okay? At 40, we got the 2022 Kansas City Chiefs. They won Super Bowl 57 over the Philadelphia Eagles, 38-35 in a thriller with a late pass interference on James Bradbury. The Eagles fans are still pissed off about this one. It looks like deja vu all over again. At 39, we got the 2010 Green Bay Packers. They won Super Bowl 45. It was Aaron Rodgers got his only Super Bowl win, stepping out of Brett Favre's shadow. 38, we got the 1993 Cowboys won Super Bowl 28 after starting 0-2 with Emmitt Smith holding out. Jerry Jones didn't want to pay Emmitt. Cowboys started off 0-2, and I think they were the first team in NFL history to start the season off 0-2 and then actually come back and win the Super Bowl. In number 37, I got the 2019 Kansas City Chiefs. They beat my 49ers in Super Bowl 54, 31-20. This Kansas City team was actually a better balanced squad. At 36, we got the 1983 Oakland Raiders. They won Super Bowl 18, dismantling a high-powered Redskin team. Marcus Allen was the MVP. Laura, you got a question for me?
No, got a comment from Felix online.
Okay, what does Felix have to say?
Felix says Washington in 83 had the best turnover differential as well. John Madden's load the wagon quote was based on getting ready to play against them.
Okay. Hey, listen, you guys know Felix know all DMV sports, especially his beloved Redskins / Commanders. You know they still on high on here on the DMV with Jaden Daniels. At 35, we got the 1977 Cowboys. They won Super Bowl 12. The Doomsday defense forced 8 turnovers against the Denver Broncos in that Super Bowl. At 34, we got the 1979 Pittsburgh Steelers. They won Super Bowl 14, beating the Rams in the big game. The steel curtain prevailed. At 33, we got the 2014 New England Patriots was gifted Super Bowl 49 by Coach Pete Carroll's worst play in sports history. Not the worst play in football, the worst play in sports history. Now, you guys know I'm an undercover Raider fan, and the Raiders have just hired Pete Carroll. And Pete Carroll is a great motivator, but I feel like Pete Carroll should never be allowed to coach in the NFL again after that play. But that's what that Super Bowl was. That Super Bowl was gifted to the New England Patriots. Sometimes you got to be lucky rather than good. Number 32, we got the 2020 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They won Super Bowl 59 as Brady stepped into legendary status, beating Patrick Mahomes, the only guy that's beat Mahomes in the Super Bowl so far, Tom Brady. At 31, we got the 1997 Denver Broncos. They won Super Bowl 32 over the Packers, saving John Elway's career status as being an all-time loser. So he ended up getting 2 at the end of his career. At number 30, we got the 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They won Super Bowl 37 over the Oakland Raiders, establishing the Tampa 2 defense. That Tampa 2 defense was legit. But, the thing that even to this day still bothers me about that is that was Tony Dungy's team, that Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. you know, I didn't like that. That was Tony Dungy's team. At number 29, that's all I'm gonna say about that. At number 29, we got the 1976 Oakland Raiders, one of my favorite teams. They won Super Bowl 11, going 13-1 and beating a good Minnesota Vikings teams 32-14. If you guys watch legendary NFL films, that's the Super Bowl where Willie Brown steps in front of a pass and intercepts it and takes it back 70+ yards for a touchdown, and he's running in slow motion, and John Fazenda's voice is constant, and it's a music playing. It's just a great scene. At number 28, we got the 2000 Baltimore Ravens. They won Super Bowl 35 without an offense. Them Ravens pitched shutouts against, and they pitched a shutout against the Giants. They won that Super Bowl with no offense. As a matter of fact, their quarterback is the first quarterback in NFL history to win the Super Bowl and the next year be cut. Trent Dilfer. Trent Dilfer won the Super Bowl, and the next year the Ravens cut him. Number 27, the 2004 New England Patriots became the second team to win 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, with Super Bowl 39 winning 21 in a row. They won 21 games in a row during that span. At 26, we got the 2009 New Orleans Saints, won Super Bowl 43, and now we know that pigs can actually fly. The announcer says, the Saints won the Super Bowl. That means that pigs can now fly. Come on. If we can go back all the years of the Saints fan wearing the bags, and the announcer say, the Saints win the Super Bowl, that means that pigs can now fly. Drew Brees outdueled Peyton Manning for that win. Super Bowl at number 25, I got the 2017 Philadelphia Eagles. They won Super Bowl 52, beating the unbeatable Tom Brady 41-33 and a flat-out shootout. Man, what I love and remember about that game is that the Eagles coach, Doug Peterson, he knew he had to put the metal to the pedal, and the way the Commanders played this year, going for it on 4th down and just being very aggressive. That's what they did in that Super Bowl, and Tom Brady still almost came back and beat them. Number 24, the 1986 Giants won Super Bowl 21, led by Lawrence Taylor, but Phil Simms stole the show, going 22 for 25 in passing. At number 23, we got the 1968 Baltimore Colts. They lost Super Bowl 3 after going 13-1, losing to the biggest underdogs in so-called Super Bowl history, where Willie Joe Namath predicted that they were going to win. Nat Wood, you remember him, Willie Joe putting that finger up like that? You remember that, Nat Wood? Number 22, we got the 1992 Dallas Cowboys, won Super Bowl 27, the best of the 1990s, and Dallas, I think maybe Dallas' best team ever. This team was flat out unbeatable. Okay, this team, the Dallas Cowboys' second unit, their second unit was the second best unit in all of football. Their second stringers were better than everybody else's. They beat my 49ers in the NFC Championship game. What a great team. Number 21, we got the 1969 Kansas City Chiefs. They won Super Bowl 4. This is the first game I ever saw, over the Vikings with a defense. Check this out. With a defense, listen to this, with a defense that had 6 Hall of Famers in the starting lineup. The 1969 Chiefs had, they had 6 Hall of Famers starting on defense. Tell me how good that team was. At number 20, we got the 1971 Dallas Cowboys. They won Super Bowl 6 as Roger Staubach beat the Dolphins before they went on their run and had their perfect season the following year. At number 19, we got the 2016 New England Patriots. They won Super Bowl 51 after being down 28-3 in the third quarter. Brady's last hour comeback. This game here still bothers me. Listen, man. Listen. You can't be up 28-3 in a Super Bowl and lose that game. Oh, geez. Moving on. 18, we got the 2007 New England Patriots. They lost Super Bowl 42, 17-14 to the New York Giants, ruining the chance at perfection. Man, if any team was going to have a perfect year, this was the year. And man, the Giants ruined it for them. At number 17, we got the 1968 New York Jets. This is Willie Joe Namath, who won Super Bowl III, beating the Colts after Namath, like I said, Nat Wood guaranteed that win. The 1968 Jets. This was also an historic game because this was the time of the year where this was the time where the AFL had forced the NFL to merge with them. Kind of like, remember what we talked about with Live Golf versus the PGA Tour? That's what was going on in the NFL. And the AFL were able to force the NFL to the table, force a merger, but the NFL still was considered to have the better teams. So that's why the Colts were so heavy favorites in this game. And so at that time, the AFL was kind of like the minor leagues. So this was the first time that an AFL team beat an NFL team in the Super Bowl. It's an historic game. The 1968 New York Jets. At number 16, we got the 1966 Green Bay Packers. They won Super Bowl I, 35-10 to start the big game, the Super Bowl off. Okay, you guys know how the Super Bowl was initially comes up or was named the Super Bowl. The owner of the Kansas City Chiefs, his son had at the time what they call a Super Ball. You know, rubber balls that you bounce, and it was called a Super Ball. And his sons were going around bouncing the ball because at that time it was just the championship game. And he saw his son bouncing the ball. He said, "What is that?" And his son says, "It's a Super Ball." And the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs says, "How about we change the name to the Super Bowl?" And that's how the Super Bowl came up. Tom the Bomb digging deep, bringing it, baby. All right, number 15, we got the 1998 Denver Broncos who won Super Bowl 33 as John Elway and Denver got lucky catching the Atlanta Falcons in that Super Bowl, because if you can remember, the Minnesota Vikings had an unbelievable team, but their kicker missed the field goal, and the Falcons beat the Vikings, and they smoked the Falcons in the Super Bowl. Denver smoked the Falcons in the Super Bowl. I think Minnesota wins the Super Bowl that year if they make it. At number 14, we got the 1978 Pittsburgh Steelers. They won Super Bowl 13, 35-31 over the Dallas Cowboys in one of the truly, truly great Super Bowls. This was back in the time where the three best teams in all of football was the Dallas Cowboys, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Oakland Raiders. And one of those three teams was going to be in the Super Bowl every year. They dominated the 70s. Number 13, we got the 2013 Seattle Seahawks. They won Super Bowl 48 as the Legion of Boom announced its presence with authority and thrashed Peyton Manning in this game. Number 12, we got the 1973 Miami Dolphins. They won Super Bowl 8 going 15-2. It's the Dolphins' best team ever, even better than the 1972 undefeated team. At number 11, we got the 1996 Green Bay Packers. They won Super Bowl 31. Brett Favre with 3 MVPs and Reggie White. No more to be said. You got the 3-time MVP in Brett Favre and Reggie White. Reggie White, Reggie White, Reggie White. There you go. At number 10, we got the 1988 St. Louis Rams. They won Super Bowl 34, the greatest show on turf. Warner and Falk. Favre and Reggie White, Warner and Falk. That's all we need to say about that. How about number 9? The 1975 Pittsburgh Steelers won Super Bowl 10 over Dallas, is easily one of the all-time best teams ever. What an unbelievable team. At number 8, we got the 1994 San Francisco 49ers. They won Super Bowl 29. Steve Young cemented his Hall of Fame career, scoring 500 points during that regular season. That was a high-powered 49er team. At number 7, and I know Gus going to give me some pushback on this because they're at number 7, and a lot of people think, number 7, that's not low enough on your list, Tom the Bomb. The 1972 Miami Dolphins won Super Bowl 7, the only perfect NFL team to go 17-0. They had 6 Hall of Famers on that roster. Well, Tom the Bomb, why you got them that high up? Man, it was a season of perfection. But I'm trying to tell you, these next 6 teams I'm getting ready to tell you about, they were better than that Miami Dolphins. They would have run that Miami Dolphins team off the field. All right, let's get to number 6. Number 6 is the 1991 Washington Redskins. Won Super Bowl 26, going 14-2. And this, no doubt, Felix, was the Washington organization's best team ever. This 1991 football team was just stacked. They were stacked on offense. They were stacked on defense. They were stacked on specialty teams. It's not even close to their best team. We've been this week, it's Super Bowl week, so they've been showing a lot of different things on the ESPN 30 for 30s, which are excellent, by the way. They've been showing the 30 for 30 on Buffalo, who lost 4 straight Super Bowls. And I was watching this the other day, and Bruce was saying, I just don't believe the best team won in that Super Bowl. And it happens sometimes. But listen, when the Buffalo Bills lost those 4 Super Bowls, and Gus was telling me, well, how do you not have the Bills in this? And they was in 4 straight Super Bowls. It's really simple. Buffalo was not the best team in those Super Bowls. They lost to the Giants. They lost to the 1991 Washington Redskins, and then they lost to the Dallas Cowboys the next 2 years in a row. All 3 of those teams were just better than Buffalo. So, they just weren't the better team. At number 5, I got the 1989 San Francisco 49ers. They won Super Bowl 24. They went 14-2 with an average victory margin of 14 points and a 55-10 beatdown and shellacking of John Elway and the Denver Broncos. It was a total beatdown, probably the most lopsided Super Bowl in history. At number 4, I got the 1984 San Francisco 49ers. They won Super Bowl 19. They're the first to win 15 games and an average margin of victory of 17 points. Great, great, great team. At number 1, this is actually going to number. At number 1, and here's what Tom the Bomb's number 1 Super Bowl team of all time, the Super Bowl Shuffle. The 1985 Chicago Bears won Super Bowl 20 with pure dominance. For the whole year, probably the best year ever for one team in 1 year. They had 15 regular seasons win by an average margin of 18 points per game. The epic 46 defense pitched 2 shutouts in the NFC playoffs. And in the postseason, it outscored its opponents 91-10 in all the postseason. Everyone wanted to see a rematch with the Miami Dolphins, who gave the 1985 Bears their only loss. But New England spoiled it and beat the Dolphins, and they got spanked 46-10 in the big game. It was an offense led by Sweetness, Walter Payton, and a cast of characters to never be forgotten. You had Coach Mike Ditka. You had the punky QB McMahon. Well, how about, who could ever forget Refrigerator William Perry? Nobody could ever forget. And then Mike Singletary. Can't have it. As the list goes on and on, with many Hall of Famers, and they never made it back to another Super Bowl. Wow, unbelievable. Hey, gang, let's take a break, and then we're going to be right back, and we got guests for you today. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to be right back.
For about half the cost of national brands, you get equal if not better quality, saving you thousands of dollars. Right now, get 2 free windows with every 2 you buy. There's no limit. Plus, put no money down, make no payments, and pay no interest for 24 months. Get a free in-home estimate and we'll give you a free gas card. Go to windownation.com for additional details or call 866-95-NATION.
Sheltered by the Sea of Cortez, Danzante Bay is a pure and peaceful oasis, an uncrowded retreat where your options are as vast as your views. If you're seeking a vacation that defines luxury and the true relaxation, look no further than Villa del Palmar at the islands of Loreto. A splendor of true Mexican hospitality effortlessly blends with rich materials and insatiable comforts to bring guests the ideal home away from home experience. With its quiet beaches, scenic vistas, rich history, and an astounding surrounding natural habitat, you'll feel as though you've been swept off to paradise. Not to be outdone, Reese Jones has crafted TPC Danzante Bay, a brilliant, multi-themed 18-hole golf course that runs over and through valleys, arroyos, dunes, and foothills. From every angle, striking images of the islands of Loreto and the surrounding mountain range take your breath away, while the challenging yet rewarding Baja Golf Course beckons you to return for more. It is an honor and my pleasure to welcome you to the world's most beautiful sunset and so much more.
Hey, gang, we're back. Hey, listen, Lori's going to jump in here and she's going to give us some comments off the live feed. We got a lot of people watching live. Go ahead, Lori. Go ahead and tell us what we got going.
Yep, just some comments from Mother Wiggs about our Kansas City Chiefs. Want to thank you, shout out, for acknowledging that the origins and the root of the naming of the Super Bowl actually comes out of Kansas City.
There you go, comes out of Kansas City.
There's some disagreement with the poll that you announced at the beginning about whether or not Mahomes is going to get 7 Super Bowl wins like Brady. And her response is, just give Mahomes time, okay?
All righty.
He indeed may get there.
All righty, there we go. Okay, is that good? On the comments?
Yeah.
All right, hey, gang, joining us today on the Tom the Bomb Show, it's my baby brother, Chuck Gus Wood. So you know we're going to disagree on everything. So let's go ahead and welcome Gus to the show and get his thoughts. Let's welcome Gus to the show. You ready to get me already, ain't you? All right, okay, so let's start off with the go ahead with your Super Bowl. What's your thoughts on the Super Bowl, Gus? With my countdown, and who do you like? What team do you like?
First of all, I want to say thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to be on the Tom the Bomb Show, and this is the Tom the Bomb Show. So you're entitled to your opinions.
Yeah.
And you know what they say about opinions, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has an opinion, just like right.
Elbows and keyholes.
Right. But I couldn't have. I mean, I've been listening to your show for about 5 or 6 years, maybe 7, and you are so wrong today. I'm like, this guy is out of his mind. I mean, you're normally like right on key. You're normally right on it. I mean, you are so far off the keel. How do you beat perfection? How the 1972 Dolphins aren't the best Super Bowl team ever, and they're perfect. Period. Drop the mic.
Well, I would tell you.
No more conversation.
I would tell you.
Can I talk?
Yeah, you can talk.
They're perfect. You don't get no better than perfect. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
The 91 Skins, I'll give you the 91 Skins. It was nothing like the 91 Skins. The 75 Steelers has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 Hall of Famers. Donnie Shell is a Hall of Famer.
They're all
class
Hall
of
2020. I couldn't remember if Donnie Shell was. I just couldn't remember.
Well, he got inducted during COVID 2020, so everything was lost during 2020. Yeah. So it really was like a footnote. But he got inducted to the Hall of Fame in the class of 2020. Was that
not the greatest rookie class of all time? All those rookies came in together and they were all Hall of Famers?
13 Hall of Famers on that team. Definitely the best team ever. Number 3, fighting number 2 for the Skins. The 85 Bears were defensive orientated. They had a clown quarterback. You can't remember the tight ends. You can't remember the receivers. I mean, that team was built on defense. So if
Willie Gault was a receiver.
Well, yeah, he's a track star.
And I'm not even a Bears fan.
Receiver. Right. So if you can put them up there, because the defense, they were definitely the best team defensively. But when you talk about team, you're talking about as a matter of fact, the Bears team that lost the Super Bowl was a better team than the Bears with special teams, offense, and defense. So when you talk about a team, you're talking about 3 elements. That was Devin Hester's year, buddy. Come on, man. That's a team. I'm just saying, when you talk about a team. Okay, so I'm just doing some fact checking on you. So we got to go with the Dolphins, the Steelers, the Skins. That Patriots team, 17-0 during the regular season. They lost in the Super Bowl. Randy Moss and Tom Brady set so many offensive 50 touchdowns. 50 touchdowns. So that team has to be in the top 5 or 6 anywhere. And I'm going to wrap it up with the Buffalo Bills for 4 years in a row.
Well, like I
made the
said,
Super
but
Bowl
they just
4 years in a
that Buffalo
row.
team was not better than the Giants. They definitely weren't better than the
They got 8
1991
Hall
Washington
of
Redskins.
Famers, but they got 8. If you go back and track on that team,
Yeah.
they got 8 Hall of Famers on that Buffalo Bills team. Tom, they were stacked too, man.
Well, you know what?
They were
They
stacked,
probably
bro.
should have made my list. I agree with you there. They probably should have made the list, but I just know the 4 Super Bowls that they lost, the teams that they lost to, the Giants, the Redskins, and the Cowboys twice, they were better than Buffalo, you know. And Big
The
Bruce was
field,
saying we were a
in both
better
of
team.
those
That was
games,
not
that
true.
guy missed 2 field goals.
He missed one
That
field
guy
goal
missed
against
2
the Giants.
field goals wide
One,
left.
mhm. Just to the
If you
Giants.
win that
Giants
Super
is one.
Bowl,
hmm
right, that changes everything. If you win that Super Bowl,
Maybe.
that trajectory or that up snowball effect, that changes everything with Buffalo.
I don't think
So
so
I'm
because
thinking they have to be in there.
Well, I don't think so because I think they should. You're right. The one Super Bowl that Buffalo should have won was against the Giants because if Scott Norwood makes that field goal, Buffalo wins that Super Bowl. But the next year,
That's
they
right.
got the 91 Redskins, and that team was
That was
unbelievable.
tough.
And then the
Yeah,
next
yeah,
2 years, they got
they
the
were.
Cowboys, and the Cowboys' second team unit was better than everybody else in the NFL. It was, so they should have went 1 out of 4. They at least should have at least one Super Bowl. So I do agree with you. And man, I just think, perfection is perfection, but there's a lot of teams on this list that would have beat the brakes off of the 1972 Miami Dolphins. I'm sorry.
Oh no, man!
Back
There's
then
about 8 Hall of Famers on that Dolphins team too. I mean,
it is. They
they're
got quite a few.
really stacked.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. All righty. What's your thought? You want to take a shot at the poll question yet, or do you want to wait on that to the end of the show?
It's either going to be. What's the poll question about? It's either going to be Buffalo or Minnesota.
The poll question is: what team has been to the Super Bowl 4 times and has never held the lead in the game?
It's going to be Minnesota or Buffalo.
Okay, well, it's not multiple choice.
Well, let me see. Well, Buffalo led because I think Buffalo scored first. I'm going to say Minnesota.
Okay, all right, you're a smart guy. All right, okay. Okay, gang, let's get it. Our Super Bowl 59 preview of the Eagles versus Mother Wiggs Kansas City Chiefs. Okay. Now, we all know that Super Bowl 59 is a rematch of a great Super Bowl 57 where the Chiefs beat the Eagles 38-35. While some of the fans, some of the faces remain the same, coaching staffs and rosters have changed. Las Vegas sees this game as close as a toss-up, just like the last time they played. With stars like Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, Travis Kelce, and A.J. Brown headlining these teams, we're going to see some explosive plays and legacy-defining performances. But the keys to the game are complex on the biggest stage. I'm talking about the games within the game that matter the most. So you guys know by now, I like to break these games down into keys. So here's Tom the Bomb's 6 keys to win Super Bowl 59 for both teams. So the stars on both sides should make this literally a heavyweight battle. This should be a heavyweight battle. Should be a good game. So let's start off with number 1. All righty, number 1. I'll give you a chance to respond to this too, Gus. Okay, Captain Obvious here. The Chiefs have got to find a way to slow down Saquon Barkley. Duh. Really, Tom? Right. I need you to take me back to where I need to be. Right. The most concerning things about Kansas City win last week over Buffalo Bills was its inability to stop James Cook. Basically for a good portion of that game. James Cook pretty much did what he wanted to. Cook had only 13 carries, but he had 85 yards and he had 2 touchdowns. And like the Lions and like the Baltimore Ravens, the Buffalo Bills, I believe, would have won that game if they had given the ball to James Cook more than at least 13 times. It's absolutely astounding to me how dumb these offensive coordinators are by getting away from running the football, running the game. How many times have we said how simple this game is. This game hasn't changed in 100 years. Playoff football in the winter, you got to run the ball and stop the run, convert on third down, and don't turn the ball over. That's it. That's the formula. Over, period. And on fourth and less than a yard, maybe give the ball to your running back. But these offensive coordinators are so smart, Gus, that they're just outthinking themselves. I need a yard, or let's say 2 yards, and I'm not going to give the ball to Derrick Henry or Marshawn Lynch. Come on. How dumb thou art. How dumb thou art. If you can't pick up a yard, you don't deserve to win. And we aren't going to even say something stupid like, how about you catch the ball, Buffalo? How about you catch the ball? Buffalo had an effective rushing attack this season, Gus, but it was still, they were still too reliant on Josh Allen being Superman. Superman going to make him this year's NFL MVP. Kansas City's defense was pulverized when James Cook was the ball carrier. And that's a red flag for Mother Wig's Kansas City Chiefs defense. The Bills' run was respectable, but Philly's run game is on a whole new level of efficiency. So in the playoffs, in the playoffs, Barkley is averaging almost 8 yards per carry, Gus. Philadelphia has the NFL's second best ground game in the NFL, and they lead the league in carries, and they're second in total yards and in rushing touchdowns. So as a team, the Eagles are averaging, as a team, not Saquon Barkley, as a team, they're averaging 4.9 yards per carry. Let's just say they're averaging 5 yards per carry. The Eagles scheme, they ran in Super Bowl 57 are similar, but they're more experienced. And now they have Saquon Barkley triggering the hunt. And unlike the Lions, unlike the Baltimore Ravens, and unlike the Buffalo Bills, the Philadelphia Eagles aren't going to be stupid enough to abandon the ground game. If they do, then you know that this game is absolutely fixed, okay? Now this Eagles running game is terrifying, and they won't forget to utilize their best player. The football cliche is that the game is won in the trenches, and the Eagles have the advantage over every team in the league in the trenches. In Super Bowl 57, Kansas City defense did a great job of shutting down the Eagles' run game. They had 17 carries for the Eagles, and the running backs only gained 45 yards on those 17 carries. Jalen Hurts was the most effective runner for the Eagles in that previous Super Bowl. He had 15 carries for 70 yards and 3 Ds slowing down Barkley. All right, Gus, jump in there and tell me what you think about that.
Well, who's the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs?
Michael Jordan.
I rest my case. So saying that, when the Eagles' best player is Saquon Barkley, so he has to be featured. The Buffalo Bills, their best player is Josh Allen. Everybody thinks Lamar Jackson is, well, he is Baltimore's best player. He's a 2-time, 3-time MVP with additional Derrick Henry. So you have to put the ball in your best player's hands, because as a coach, I'm going out with an empty chamber, nothing left in the magazine. I'm giving my best shot. So if my best shot is Saquon or Patrick Mahomes, I'm going with Patrick Mahomes 9 days out of 10.
Well,
so that's why Kansas City will probably win, because if it comes down to the last play, you can stop Saquon Barkley. You can't stop Patrick Mahomes. That's a fact.
Okay.
That's a fact. You can put, if it's 3rd and 2, Kansas City ain't no slouch on defense, and those guys play. They play based on the games. Andy Reid said, "My guys make plays at the right time," and they do. They make big plays at the right time. So if it's 3rd and 2, and you give the ball to Saquon, and they stop him, and Patrick Mahomes gets that ball back, you're not going to stop Patrick Mahomes. I don't care if it's 4th and 16 or 3rd and 10. he's going to stick it to you, and you're going to lose the football game. So it may come down to the two best players, but you're, as a former quarterback, I'd rather have the hands in my quarterback at the end of the game than the quarterback giving the ball to somebody, unless it's O.J. Simpson or Walter Payton,
Well,
something like that.
Let me just ask you this real quick. When Denver went to their Super Bowls, would you say that John Elway was the best player on Denver's team? When
He
Denver
was.
went to the Super Bowls? Okay, right. He was. Okay, but Denver didn't win until John Elway gave the ball to Terrell Davis. So even though John
That's
Elway
right.
is the best player on your team, Denver didn't win until they gave the ball to Terrell Davis. So I hear you, Josh Allen is your superstar, but what was working for you was James Cook. What was working for Baltimore was Derrick Henry. What was working for the Detroit Lions was Jamar Gibbs. And they all got away from it. So
Right.
slowing down Saquon Barkley is a must for the Chiefs to get enough possessions to score, because I think the Chiefs are going to need at least 30 points again to win this game. The Eagles' goal is going to be long, sustained drives and forcing the Chiefs to be perfect in its offensive efficiency. What's your take on that?
That's a good analogy. I like that. But you're talking about old school coaches. Was Shanahan coaching that team in Denver when they won those Super Bowls?
Yes.
He was the Denver coach.
When they won. He wasn't there when they lost. He wasn't there when they lost. He was there when they won. Right.
When they won. So he was giving the handoff. Right. So he's that type of coach. These coaches today rely on analytics too much, and they don't go with the eye test. And the eye test is still what wins the football game, and they're stuck on analytics, and that's why a lot of them lose the games like they do. Because, like you say, for 100 years, it's running and tackling. In the Ice Bowl, Green Bay and Kansas City and Denver, Bart Starr and them other guys, when the frozen tundra, that guy ran for a touchdown, 4th and 1. You still have to run the football at the end of the day. So I think it'll be a great game, but because Patrick Mahomes will have a shot at the end, if it comes down to that, then Kansas City will win the Super Bowl.
All righty. Now, Morpheus on The Matrix says, 400 years they've been trying to kill us. The game ain't changed in 100 years. Let's get to our next. 400 years they've been trying to kill us. For some of us, 400 years. Okay, Tom. All right. Let's get to our next key. How many times? Wait a minute, Meg. Let me start this, and then you can do that. Right? Yeah. Thank you. How many times have you all heard me say that coaching matters in the NFL? It's amazing how many games I've seen lost this year from just bad coaching on really, really basic concepts like give the ball to Derrick Henry. Buffalo plays the #1 blitzing team in the NFL, and they're not prepared for 4th and 5 blitz coming that everybody in the world knew was coming. Captain Obvious knew that Kansas City was going to be blitzing. Well, my second key for this Super Bowl is Philadelphia, the blitz is coming. Defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo's ability to scheme unblocked blitzers has been the best in NFL by far since he was hired in 2019. But Jalen Hurts' mobility allows him to buy some time and break tackles occasionally. But Jalen, he's more of a power runner, kind of like Cam Newton, than an elusive type runner who avoids sack like Jaden Daniels. Under pressure, Jalen Hurts has not been good. Truth of the matter, he hasn't. So the Eagles have to build in quick throws to hot reads to flip the script on the blitz packages they know are coming. What's your take on that?
Well, if you said it, if it comes down to coaching, then Philly has already lost this game. If you're putting,
I agree with you there.
Putting the key in the coaching, then this game there is no need to play this one because they're going to get out coached. They're going to get out coached. I don't know if you watched Andy Reid's press conference when Buffalo beat Kansas City early in the season. He said he used half his playbook because he knew that they were going to have to play Buffalo again. This is like they lost in what, week 1 or week 2, and he knew they were going to play Buffalo again.
That offense
and
was very
they didn't
vanilla.
run half. They didn't run half the play.
Yeah, it was like a preseason offense
So
he ran against them.
That's right. If it comes down to coaching, then Philly's already lost this game. So I don't want to put too much weight on the coaching aspect of it. But you're right, coaching matters. But if that's the case, man, I'm thinking Kansas City by 2 touchdowns. Then the 2 touchdown coaches better.
I think it's really great too how Andy Reid has balanced 2 professional careers in his life. First he was an actor, Wilford Brimley, that was his name, was his acting name, and now he's a head football coach in the NFL as Andy Reid. So I think it's really brilliant the way he's been able to balance 2 professional professions, acting and football.
You're funny. You're funny. And Andy Reid took a Philadelphia Eagles football team to several Super Bowls, and he's been around and he knows the game, the players know him, and the referees know him.
Well, we gonna get there. Don't worry, we got a whole second. Come on, I'm gonna take advantage of having a referee on. I'm gonna take advantage of that.
Hey, Andy Reid, in other words, Andy Reid is a made man.
leave the gun, get the cannolis.
Right.
This is the business that we have chosen. All right, let's get to our next key for the game. The Chiefs have got to get rid of the ball. Same thing with quick reads and hot routes, because the Chiefs' weakness is their offensive line. They hold more than any team in the NFL. They just don't get called for it. They hold more than I hold Lori's hand. At least when it counts. The Eagles present the worst possible matchup for the Chiefs' offensive line. Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, they're elite. They're elite at penetrating the line, along with Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith has ascended into one of the most disruptive edge rushers in the NFL, and no team can match the Philadelphia Eagles' depth along the line with Jordan Davis, Jax Hunt, and Moro Ojomo, and you still got Josh Sweat rounding out their rotation. But like we witnessed the brilliance of Jaden Daniels with his cheat codes. I've been talking to you guys about the cheat codes, knowing what's going on against the defensive blitz. Patrick Mahomes is still the best against the blitz, as he routinely gets rid of the ball quickly, and he's the great eraser. He's able to mitigate pressure with his pocket movement. If the Eagles don't get to Mahomes with the blitz, they're going to lose this game, period. What's your take?
Well, what's Kansas City's running back that they just brought back for the 3rd time that was in Cleveland?
Kareem Hunt.
Okay.
Kareem Hunt.
Write this down. Kareem Hunt will be the factor. Because of that aggressive defensive line, you're going to see a lot of draw plays drawn up against that defense. And I think Kareem Hunt will rush for 100 yards. If you're taking parlays, take one of those. Kareem Hunt rushes for 100 yards. He may even be the MVP of this game. He's going to be the deciding factor based on that aggressive defensive line that Philly has. They'll run draw plays on him, and he may even pop one up the middle, because you're right. Philly by far has the best defensive line. But Kansas City has a great defense overall.
You must be reading my notes,
man. Come on, man. It's simple, man. It's football hasn't changed in 100 years.
100 years. let's get to our next key. Our next key is I'm calling the squeaky wheel gets the oil. In this case, feed A.J. Brown. There aren't many receivers better than Brown in man-to-man coverage. He's going to roast Trent McDuffie, just like he did against the Commanders. I think it's going to be a bigger factor than Saquon Barkley in this game. McDuffie is probably going to follow A.J. Brown all over the field, wherever he lines up. The Chiefs' defense, usually they go man coverage with cover one alignments, and occasionally they mix in double coverage brackets against. They're going to mix in cover brackets against Jalen Hurts, and they'll probably opt for more zone looks to take away running lanes from Jalen Hurts, to cut down on, big run plays over the top, because, he did run for 3 touchdowns on him in Super Bowl 57. But A.J. Brown is going to see some man coverage. And this is going to be a key. When that happens, Jalen Hurts can't freeze and he can't hold the ball too long. He's got to take every deep shot that presents itself to both A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, the Slim Reaper. McDuffie is good, but he doesn't have the height and he doesn't have the strength to shut down A.J. Brown. The Eagles should look to move Brown into the slot. If you move him into the slot to throw against, basically to throw the Chiefs a curveball. What's your take on that?
Well, one thing you left out about AJ, you can never judge a man's heart. And when you talk about football, you have to look at a man's heart. You talk about his size and his strength, but that guy plays with a lot of grit and heart. And that's why Andy Reid and those guys have a lot of confidence in him. And I think big players are going to make big plays. If you throw at him enough, you're going to make him bark. If you kick at a dog enough, he'll bark at you. So I wouldn't go at him that much, and then you make him rise to the top and have one of his stellar performances, because he's no slouch. And the thing about Kansas City's defense, like I'll say it over and over again, they make big plays at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
So A.J. Brown could be a huge factor if they ride him. If they ride him. But now we're talking about coaches up in the booth making adjustments, changing defensive packages, maybe going nickel or going to a cover 2 or something to give him that added protection. And that's what it'll come down to, adjustments and coaching. And that's why I said, and that's why and besides Mahomes, that's why I think KC will win this one. Due to the coaching staff, it really plays a valuable part in winning the football game, bro.
So you done already gave your prediction. We usually like to save that for the end of the show, but okay, how many times have you said Kansas City gonna win?
There's no prediction. Here's my thing. I was in the barbershop. You can tell I got me a fresh cut and a fresh shape up, so I'm looking kind of fly. But everybody in the barbershop was talking about. Everybody was talking about the refs, this, and they're still picking Philly. I'm saying, how can you already know that this is going to happen, and you still bet against Kansas City? Yeah. If you know the ref, if you know they're going to get calls and this is going to happen, I've said to myself, I don't bet. I was like, I bet all y'all $1,000. I'm like, you know the refs. If you really know and believe that the refs are going to be a deciding factor, why bet against Kansas City?
We got 2 more keys. Let's get through these. We got 2 more keys. Let's get through these. Okay, so the Chiefs win in the margins. Again, a lot of people more than usual attribute the Chiefs' wins to referee discretions, but that's far from the reality of why Kansas City is so good. In key moments, the facts are that the Chiefs are the best coached team with a top 4 roster, and they got the best quarterback we've ever seen in NFL history. The cascading effect of these strengthens is they play discipline, and they put immense pressure on foes to be perfect. So beating the Chiefs is nearly impossible, if they win. But if they win both the turnover margin and the penalty battle, they're 12th, and then they got the 12th man, and I don't mean the fans. The Eagles can't duplicate the Bills' mistakes made. The Chiefs lead the league with the fewest penalties per game, with just 5 per game. A clean game is imperative for the Philadelphia Eagles' plan for dominating the time of possession. That's what they got to do, dominate the time of possession. Talk to that real quick, Gus.
Well, they got Saquon Barkley, so they got the tools. If you go to fix something and you need a Phillips and it's a flathead, you got to get a flathead for a flathead screw. You got to get a Phillips for a Phillips screw. So they got the proper tool in the toolbox to win this game. But you can't go with uh, Allen wrench trying to loosen off a square nut. It's not going to work. So you
Hey,
got
that's
to
what
use the
Buffalo did.
tools.
That's what Buffalo did.
You
Tried to use an
you got
Allen
to use
wrench.
the proper tools. So I mean, you got Saquon Barkley. You remember a couple shows ago, I said it was going to be. I said if Baltimore and Philly's not in the Super Bowl, I'll be a monkey's uncle. Well, I guess I'm a monkey's uncle today
All right,
because
let's
clearly they're supposed to be in the Super Bowl.
yeah. They didn't use the right tool, Baltimore. All
That's
right,
right.
let's get to our last key for the Super Bowl winning. Okay, so on defense, the Eagles have to stuff Kansas City's running game. The Chiefs shouldn't be able to have a lot of success running the ball on the Eagles, but timely, effective rushing for big yards is going to be key. This is why I thought you was in my notes, Gus. The Chiefs have to throw to open up the run game and not totally abandon the run game. If the Eagles can force the Chiefs to be one dimensional, it'll work in their defense's favor. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are the best at playing this cat and mouse game. Kareem Hunt, just like you said, could be
Mhm.
big in this game. But look for Patrick Mahomes to be the Chiefs' most effective runner in the big game. He's still the most effective running quarterback in the NFL. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I already gave my thoughts
Right. Well, that's
two
why I thought you was in my
2
notes.
minutes ago.
All right. All right. Then let's move on. Then.
Yeah, it's Kareem Hunt.
All right. Let's move
Let's
on.
move
Then.
on.
Okay. So now the Chiefs have officially turned into the New England Patriots. What do you mean by that, Tom the Bomb? The Chiefs are now the most hated team in America. Okay. And it's because of the perceived preferential treatment from the league, from the NFL, and the refs. Listen to this. Taylor Swift being at the Super Bowl, rooting for the Chiefs, is worth an additional $310 million to the NFL's bottom line. That's a powerful incentive. If you want to beat the Chiefs, you just got to play better. Period. You got to play better. And you got to take the game out of the refs' hands. We talk about this all the time. The East St. Louis Senior High School football team in Illinois, they have to do that almost every game they play. So get used to it.
Absolutely.
You gotta knock the champ out. You're not gonna get a split decision against the champ. The Eagles have to go in there and knock the champs out. What's your take on that, Gus?
You're right. Like they knocked the chumps out last week with the Commanders. You got to knock the champs out.
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute now. You better watch your back the next time you come to the DMV, buddy.
Hey, if you can knock the chump, it's easy to beat the chump.
Wait a minute. I think Troy's calling. Troy says, "Where's my uncle that's a monkey?"
But you're right. They got to bring their A game, bro. They got to bring their A game. It's going to be a great game. I can't wait. Like Bart Scott, can't wait.
Can't wait. All righty, look, moving on. Hey, listen, there's a rumor that the NBA season has started. Because you guys know Tom the Bomb don't pay no attention to the NBA, at least until after the All-Star game. That's usually the end of February, right? But look, in a stunning move, the Dallas Mavericks trade Luka Doncic to the LA Fakers for Anthony Davis in a 3-team trade, a blockbuster trade that figures to impact the Western Conference balance of power for years to come. The Fakers, the Mavericks, and the Jazz completed the 3 deal. The Fakers get Luka Doncic and Maxi Kleber and Markieff Morris from the Mavericks. Dallas gets Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and the Lakers' 2029 first-round draft pick. And the Jazz get Jalen Hood-Schifino, the Clippers' 2025 second-round draft pick, and the Mavericks' 2025 second-round draft pick. The Mavs GM, Nico Harrison, said, "I believe defense wins championships. Getting an all-defensive center and an all-NBA player with a defensive mindset gives us a better chance. We're built to win now and in the future. This trade was actually initiated by the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks were motivated to move Luka Doncic because of his constant being out of condition. Let me say it like that. Concerns. There have been significant frustrations within the organization about Doncic's lack of discipline. Okay, regarding his diet and conditioning, which the teams consider a major factor in his injuries issues. Okay, so let's say that that's true. They just traded for an older player who's been Mr. Unbreakable over his career, being injured way more than Luka Doncic. I think they didn't want to pay Doncic a max deal that's going to be due at the end of the season. Doncic reported to camp in shape for him, but he's below. They want him at 230, and he's consistently around 260 and 270. So early in the season, it was reported that Doncic missed 5 to 10 games during the season for conditioning reasons, but they masked it by giving fake reports that he had a right sprained wrist injury, when in actuality it was conditioning. This year, Doncic has only played in 22 games this season because of a variety of injuries. With his season, with this season being his max deal year, he should have come into this year in the best shape of his life. This is the big money year. So it's amazing to me that the money that these guys are leaving on the table. I guess he figured that somebody gonna pay me, okay? But Doncic hasn't
Yeah.
played since straining his calf on Christmas Day. Now, Anthony Davis on the other side, Anthony Davis has set out the Lakers' last 2 games after being diagnosed with, I think it was an abdominal muscle strain earlier this week. So Doncic was in line to earn a 5-year, $345 million contract this summer. But because of the trade, he is no longer eligible for that Supermax deal. And also keep this in mind, there ain't no state tax in Dallas, but the tax in California, ooh, okay. This deal is stunning and it's historic. It's the first time that 2 reigning all NBA players have been traded for each other mid-season. Now, Anthony Davis has always preferred to play the 4 spot, and now the 6'10" center with the 6'10" center Daniel Gafford, and then they also got 7'1" center Derek Lively II. This is going to allow AD to move to his coveted 4 spot that he couldn't play with the Lakers. The last time the Lakers won it all, I think it was in 2000, the bubble, the COVID championship. AD was playing the 4 spot. Now, Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and Oscar Robertson are the only players in NBA history to average for their careers 25 points, 7 assists, and 7 rebounds per game. In their career, Doncic finished 3rd in the MVP voting last year, averaging 34 points with 10 assists and 9 rebounds per game. That's pretty good. Now, last season, leading the Mavericks to the NBA Finals, Doncic is 26 years old, and Anthony Davis is 32. What's your take on this trade? It's the biggest story in sports right now. We had to talk about this. What's your take on this, guys?
Well, money is always at the bottom, but when this general manager talks about getting in better position to win with defense, he was in the fire last year. He was in the finals. They
Right.
almost got swept.
Right.
So he knows what it takes. So as a general manager, he's like, we made it to the finals with this team. We almost got swept. That means we didn't play no defense. So if I can go out and get Anthony Davis, who's going to bring, he's going to be the enforcer. He's going to score. He's going to do it all from the offensive and defensive standpoint. And to AD's credit, he played 76 games last year, and he's already played 44. He's missed the last couple, so he's played 42, 43 games this year. So he's getting better as far as conditioning himself and being serious about his craft. So I think it's a great trade for Dallas, and LA's rebuilding. They're going to rebuild around Luka. They're going to be able to afford it. LeBron and Bronny or whatever they're doing in L.A. The circus. He'll be one of the clowns in the circus until LeBron will leave. The Lakers probably won't make the playoffs this year by losing because they already didn't play defense with AD. I mean, with him being there by himself, and now you remove AD from LA and put Luka there. They won't. I don't think they'll make the playoffs this year. Make a play-in game or something like that. But the improvement is going to be on Dallas's end because Max Christie, you can't sleep on that kid.
I liked him at Michigan State.
I've watched that kid. No, I've watched that kid. He at Rolling Meadows High School here in Chicago. He's from Arlington Heights. He was Mr. Basketball in like 2018. I've refereed this guy since he was like 9 years old. I think he's 21. I've been here 15 years. This guy was a standout basketball player in the Chicagoland area and went to Michigan State for a couple years. So he's always been that guy, kind of like he was after Jalen. Jalen came out of the Stevenson area. I refereed him as a kid coming up.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson in 2015, and Max Christie was the successor. He came out in 2018, and he carried the torch. And they both were good. He just hasn't peaked yet, and he's got to get with the right team. And going to Dallas may be the right team. He's never going to do anything. You're always going to be Robin or the Catwoman or the Joker or the Penguin if you're on the Batman show. LeBron is Batman, regardless. He tried to say I'm Robin and AD's Batman. LeBron's Batman, and whoever goes to LA, they're going to be second fiddle to LeBron. No matter who it is.
Well, they're hoping that LeBron can get him in shape. But one of the things that I heard earlier today from the talking heads, which I disagree, they were talking about, I think Charles Barkley said that, I don't think LeBron and Luka can play together. Well, the one thing that I really like about LeBron is LeBron has always been a team player, and LeBron can play with anybody. So I disagree. I thought that Luka would have problems playing with what's the guard that's still at Dallas?
Kyrie.
I thought he'd have trouble playing with Kyrie, and they did pretty good together. So I don't think LeBron's going to have any issues playing with Luka. What's your take on that?
Well, you got to let Luka be Luka. As long as he's dropping 30, you don't pull an AJ Brown. You keep your mouth shut and become a role player. You let him score 30. Now, if he's throwing up 40 shots and only hitting 18 or 19, then it becomes an issue. So as long as you're scoring, hey, man, keep scoring. Keep scoring. That's just, because LeBron's going to take over in the fourth quarter anyway. They're going to have to. If they start running double, triple teams at Luka, they're going to make LeBron, the second best player of all times, beat you. And that's a scary thought as well.
Well, I tell you what, at 40 years old, I think LeBron is going to let Luka take the lead, and which puts LeBron as the second option on your offense. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's the best second option in the history of the NBA. If LeBron James is your second option, that's the best option in the history of the NBA. And I think it worked. Now, of course, they got to add more because they still ain't nobody there still playing no defense. Like I said, defense went out the door with Anthony Davis, but they still got to bring some more guys in. And I think the Lakers will be aggressive in this. But it's very, very fascinating. We got to move on. We got a whole lot of time. Look, real quick, in other NBA news, De'Aaron Fox got traded. Click that for me, baby. Yeah. De'Aaron Fox got traded to the Spurs one more time. He got traded to the Spurs for Zach LaVine, heading to the Kings in another 3-team deal. The move gives San Antonio an all-star guard to pair with the young phenom Air Wemby, Victor Wembanyama. At 27, Fox creates a great 1-2 punch for the Spurs while not giving up a whole lot in the trade and keeping the stash of draft picks that they have acquired. The Kings get a boatload of draft picks, and the Bulls get 3 journeymen, basically. And what they do is they get their number 1 draft pick back from the Spurs in the deal. What was your take on this trade that's kind of going under the radar, but really is a powerful trade?
Yeah, it works out for the Spurs. I didn't know the Bulls still had a basketball team. I haven't watched the Chicago Bulls since I'm gonna be honest. I was gonna say 2012 with Derrick Rose. When Derrick Rose, he kind of sparked the Chicago area again and showed interest in Bulls basketball. So the Jordan era, the Derrick Rose era, Chicago hasn't had much since 2013-14.
Well, look,
So
stop complaining. It could be. At least it's not Washington. At least it's not the Washington Wizards, man. Because, oh my God, that's, listen,
real chance.
maybe Jaden Daniels can break the curse for the Washington Wizards. Hey, gang, that's our
You
show
know,
for
speaking of that,
today.
man,
Oh, I'm sorry. Huh?
I
Go ahead.
like that kid. Real quick, you know, you guys follow him. I only got to watch JD during the playoffs because I didn't watch him, and you guys were telling me, "Oh, this guy's this, he's that." And you know, I'm not a one trick pony. I'm not a one season type of guy. But this guy showed me that I believe he's going to be better than a one season quarterback. People like to compare you and call you the greatest after 1 or 2 years, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But this guy has a really, really big upside, is the term I'll use. He's got a great upside in future in the NFL if he doesn't stop running the ball. I still think he runs too much.
They all run too much, man. But Nat Wood said you got to have a running quarterback now. They all run too much. But the scary thing for me, Gus, is that he's definitely going to get better. And if he gets better than what he did this year, you know what that is? That's lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. That's what that is. Hey,
Well,
gang.
you got to put a team around him. You can't be another Joe Burrow. You know, you got good team and good receivers, and you're in the middle of the road every. You know, I don't want him to be another Joe Burrow that one or two big years, and he's still. I mean, Burrow put up great numbers, but he's with the wrong team. So they've got to improve on defense and offense, so Jaden Daniels just doesn't fly even with the radar.
Well, I think that's going to happen because they were one game from the Super Bowl and they did not have a good team this year. Make no mistake about it. The Commanders did not have a good team this year. But now it's a situation where free agents are actually going to want to come to Washington and actually play with Jaden Daniels. So they didn't have a good team this year and they were one game away from the Super Bowl. So not only is Jaden Daniels going to get better, the Washington Commanders are going to get better. And man, this area needs it. But hey, man, that's it. That's our show for today. We got to wrap it up. We're just about out of time. Let's go over our trivia question for today. What team has been to 4 Super Bowls and have never held a lead in the big game? Gus nailed it. It's the Minnesota Vikings. That's the team. Hey, gang, don't forget to check out our website at www.tomthebombsports.com. And you can also contact us by email at info@tomthebombsports.com. Hey, for a dynamic, in-depth sports analysis and highlights for sports in the DMV and more, check out the Washington Sports Den on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on WBGR with my main man, Felix Bassie. His future's so bright, he gotta wear shades. Man, time flies when you're having fun. Man, I had a blast today, Gus. Look,
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the invite, man.
Yeah, we're out of time here, but we sure do thank you for spending your time with us. Listen, may the gates of heaven open and pour an abundance of blessings down on you, that there just won't be room enough for you to contain it. You don't have to drink from the cup. It's going to overflow so much that you can just drink off the lid. Okay, drink off the saucer. As you live off the overflow and you step through the realm of grace. We're going to be talking about grace. Remember, if you want it, you got to confess it with your mouth and believe it in your heart that Jesus died on the cross and that he rose on the 3rd day, not a Thursday, right, Lori?
Right.
Just for you. Remember, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. God bless you. We'll see you guys on this same bat time on this same bat channel. Listen, we'll be coming later on this week, maybe Thursday or Friday, with another devotional in our Faith in the Fight series. If you guys didn't catch Lori and Pastor Sharon this past week, you guys gonna need to catch that on YouTube because it's so good. We're just practicing exact obedience and trying to do what the Lord has told us to do. So you guys have a good evening. Again, Gus, thank you for joining us. Listen, Gus, you did a good job. Nat Wood, you did a good job. Mother Wig, you did a good job. Kim, You did a good job. Steve, you did a good job. Tom the Bomb, you did a good job.
You're a clown, man.
Good night. You know I love you, precious. And don't you hit me either, Lori.
Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine. Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine.
Well, I'm coming out with a word in my mouth, filled with excitement to say what it's all about. For a long time, I've held this water in, let the floodgates open, let the miracles begin. I've prayed, and I've gone back 7 times, look again, cause the miracles of mine stir the water. I'm about to step in like the pool of Bethesda, let the healing begin.
Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine. Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine.
It took a minute to get my composure right. For years it seems like I've been fighting for my life. Confusing times when my days resemble nights. But now this eagle is about to take flight and soar out of darkness to its revelation light. Though the waves are rough, I step out my comfort zone to walk on water, cause I know I'm not alone. God's got my back and reminds me I'm his own. His words are sweet in my mouth, they taste like a honeycomb. And faith has opened up my eyes. I've been through the fire, tested and tried. As I study God's word, I finally realize that my purpose I have to visualize, to bring the unseen from the realm of under night until I walk into the fullness of a purpose-filled life. Cause I'm light. Yes, I am light, and I shine bright. I am an investment of the Lord Jesus Christ. Not only am I light, I am salt. When I enter in, I add flavor to it all. I bring truth, there's no dispute. Jesus is the vine, and in him I take root. I am the head, and not the tail. I'm an overcomer made free to prevail. A new design, a special kind. Ambassador followed by wonders and signs. I am light, and I give sight